Hello guys, this is Eagle and welcome to a new game review. This time we are reviewing one of the most popular games in the RTS category, which is Company of Heroes 3. This review might be a bit late, however I wanted to fully explore the game before I make any judgment. Especially that I have an emotional attachment to the Company of Heroes series in particular, as I have been playing this game since it was first released in 2006 and I witnessed myself how Company of Heroes was perceived as a revolutionary game in the RTS category that time. It is also worth to mention that there is a major debate about Company of Heroes 3 in particular these days. From one side you will see big channels endorsing this game, or being neutral at their best, while many others in the veteran COH community criticize the game. So, there are so many conflicting views, which makes it difficult for people to decide whether to buy the game or not. The reason behind this debate and confusion is simply related to one thing: the Company of Heroes 3 Creator Program. Relic and Sega have come up with a smart marketing way to market the game through content creators. So, if you are a content creator, you have a chance to join the program and actually share portion of the revenue and also get to market your channel. A brilliant move, I would say, by the two companies. This way, you can market any game, bad or good, without having to worry much about the negative feedback. Well, this channel is not part of such program, so rest assured that we are going to try to give our complete honest opinion about the game, which we believe it will help lots of normal gamers to decide whether to buy the game or not. So let's start. Game concept. For Company of Heroes veterans, you already know that there hasn't been a major change in the game concept. You build your base, produce units, capture strategic points on the map, which will either give you manpower, ammunition, or fuel. Okay, but then what is new? The major new addition to the game is actually the single player campaign. The game comes with two single player campaigns. The first is the Invasion of Italy campaign, which is a dynamic campaign played in turn-based style on a big meta map, where you micromanage your companies before taking them into a battle. Something similar to Total War franchise gameplay style. But while this concept is really appealing and sounds great in theory, the actual experience is quite the opposite. At first, you are excited to learn how to manage your units and think strategically on a big board map to defeat the enemy in the best possible way. However, after few turns, you start losing interest and simply get bored. Or at least, that's how we felt after completing the campaign in 53 turns. The AI also doesn't help in this regard, as they are pretty static and easy to defeat even though we were playing on a hard difficulty. Having said that, it's worth to mention that Relic had recently released a patch to enhance the AI in the Italian campaign specifically. So, for those who tried this, let us know if there are any improvements in the comments section. The second campaign is shorter. However, in our opinion, it's far better than the dynamic campaign. It focuses on Rommel Africa core in Libyan and Egyptian deserts, but the weird thing that it is being told by a Jewish barber rather than an Arab, which are the majority of that region. And also, instead of being told from Germany perspective. I mean, no one takes COH franchise seriously when it comes to historical accuracy, as it's mainly perceived as an arcade game. But Indian artillery company that speaks fake Indian accent, or having a Black Prince tank that was never participated in the World War II? The funny thing is that we asked the devs why there is no King Tiger, for example. The answer we got is that it was not in the African or Italian theater. Anyway, other new additions to the game includes an in-game store, which will be unlocked in the future, and probably it will contain some cosmetic skins and outfits to the units. When it comes to multiplayer, also ranked leaderboard is still not officially introduced, and the reason is that Relic still working on the game balance before introducing it officially. So, we think it's safe to rate the game 7.5 in this category. Gameplay. Well, as we said, there are no significant changes on the way the game is played than previous titles. You can choose one of 4 factions to play with in a PvP multiplayer, or in a skirmish against AI. 2 factions for the Allied, US and British obviously, and another 2 for the Axis, which are the Wehrmacht and the Afrika Korps. Each faction have 3 doctrines. However, they just call them battle groups this time. The only difference is that you get to choose an exclusive path within the doctrine itself while you are playing. We might see more doctrines added in the future, and we might even see a way to customize these doctrines, but nothing solid yet announced. The good thing that I really liked about the game is that it tries to minimize the micromanagement, which what any real-time strategy game should actually do. The main problem with most RTS games these days that they are being played like a first-person shooter rather than a strategy game. They are too fast-paced. COH3 tries to avoid this by allowing more room for normal casual players who just want to enjoy playing strategically. For example, the game now adds the tactical pause feature in the single player, which allows the player to queue orders and take his time to think. Also, you don't need now to manually reinforce your units after retreating to the base. You can enable automatic reinforcement and focus on other things to do. Also, you don't need to manually capture a strategic point. You just need to put your units within the circle and they will automatically capture it. All these features contribute to more comfortable gameplay. Okay, we said the good things, but there are also some bad things. The worst thing of them all that everyone is talking about right now is the camera. The camera is really zoomed in, and that's in a very uncomfortable way. That affects the gameplay and even how the units looks, as they look like big pieces on a chessboard. Many players complained about this, and the response we got from Relic that they are looking into it, but no promises were made. Funny enough, that there are some missions which have the camera properly zoomed out, and it really looks good that way. So really no idea where is this inconsistency come from. But from what we see, at least more camera zoom control need to be allowed. One more thing that we really know that it is annoying for many players is the missing player names on the units in the multiplayer. So you can't actually know who is your opponent. Pretty bad, right? Also, balance is not the best at the moment, but there are lots of patches being released to adjust this, and no one can ignore the efforts done in that regard. Overall, we rate the game 7 out of 10 in this category. Game physics. So that's the most important part about this review, because there has been lots of debate about the graphics, sounds, and effects. Well, in our opinion, graphics can be divided into 2 major branches. 1. Units and tank models, and we can say with full confidence that the game sucks in that regard. Big time. This is definitely not the kind of graphics that you would expect from a 2023 game. Especially that the previous titles did much better than this. Even the cinematic cutscenes feels like a downgrade. We believe part of the problem is also related to the zoomed in camera, which makes the bad looks even worse. The second branch is the map design and visual effects like explosions, etc. And to be honest, I think they are quite good, or at least they are okay. I saw many people also complain about sounds and sound effects, but to be honest, I feel they are quite acceptable. One more thing to mention, that I did not like the concept of the cosmetics that you can add to the units, which is something similar of what you can do in Call of Duty and Battlefield, by adding weird looking people and stuff to the units. I mean, come on, where is the military discipline? Be a bit realistic. I know some people like this stuff, but personally, I think it removes authenticity from the game. Anyway, we will rate the game 6 out of 10 in this category. Learning curve and support. Company of Heroes 3, like any other Company of Heroes, is quite easy to play. And maybe that's one of the main reasons the game has a very large community. Anyway, the game starts with a training mission, and you can join the Discord community to basically ask anything. Tons of contents are also available about the game on YouTube and other platforms. When it comes to bugs, we have seen lots of them in the game. Some are related to the graphics, like this one, and others are related to the gameplay itself. Relic is doing a very good effort to release hotfixes regularly to fix such issues, and it is something expected that any game would have such bugs at the start. So, we rate the game 7.5 out of 10 in this category. Conclusion. If you expect that Company of Heroes 3 is more superior to the previous titles, then lower your expectations. There are some additions to the game, however there are also many problems. I would say that the camera setup is the biggest problem that Relic need to focus on right now, but there are also many other issues. The game as a whole, while it's still fun to play as any other Company of Heroes, it does not add much value than the other titles at this stage. Maybe this is going to change in the future, who knows. But overall, in the current stage, we can rate the game 6.5 out of 10. I hope that I covered most of the aspects in this review, and I also hope that my review is able to help answering whether you should buy the game or not. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe for more contents like this one. See you in the future reviews.